Cynthia Thompson, who lives with her mom and her daughter, has requested help from her neighbors on social media. 8-year-old Abby, Cynthia's daughter, has undergone 3 rounds of chemo for a rare type of ovarian cancer.
It was a hard time because she was in throes. She was getting chemo. You can't take that pain away from your kid. You want to, but you can't.
But to make things worse, the coronavirus pandemic hits, and her 9th birthday party with family and friends has to be canceled.
It's hard telling a kid who's been through so much with all the cancer, hey, your birthday's canceled, sorry.
Cynthia's family has lived on the street since she was a baby. With it being a tight-knit community, the caring neighbors come together to figure out how they might help this brave kid on the block who is going through so much.
Abby, come on.
Much to Cynthia's surprise, her neighbors go beyond her simple request to wish Abby a happy birthday from their porches and organize one of the pandemic's first car parades, including kids from Abby's school and members of her local church.
What did you do, Mom?
It was just really awesome. Everybody coming out. She felt the love pretty hard.
Abby's grandmother is also there to witness the extraordinary act of neighborly love.
It just made you feel so good that something fun was happening for Abby.
Like after all that hard effort pushing through chemo and stuff, it was very amazing.
This day was the start of Abby being happy again, a true smile. I would like to extend a wonderful thank you to our neighborhood and our community for stepping up and being there for us through Abby's cancer. Good. Hold on. Okay. They went beyond all the time.
And Abby has more good news. She finishes her cancer treatment. And now at the age of 11, she's been in full remission for over a year.
Now that I'm cancer-free, I can hang out with my friends again. And it's just a lot better to be out in the real world than stuck in a hospital.
She is a cancer survivor and a rock star in my eyes.
Cynthia and Abby will always remember how their old neighbors made Abby feel special when she needed it most. We're in Miami, Florida. It's 1 a.m., and at a downtown apartment complex, security cameras record a man wandering around the parking lot. He's carrying what looks like a gas can. One of the building's tenants, Miguel Quintero, is outside getting some air. He doesn't recognize the man.
Living there 5 years, I did know every single one of the neighbors. He walked by and I just knew something was up.
The stranger walks off, but minutes later, he's back. This time outside the door of an apartment. He unscrews his can, pours the contents on the doormat, and then sets it alight, and then runs away. Inside the apartment asleep is Susie Rios and her 2 young granddaughters, who she's babysitting for the night.
I'm one of those people that when I go to sleep, I hear nothing.
As Susie's door starts to burn, it triggers the smoke alarm.
I never even thought it was the fire alarm. As I'm walking down the stairs, all of a sudden I see the downstairs full of smoke. There was no rear exit. So my thoughts were, okay, what do I do? How do I get the girls out? I mean, it was just like all hell literally broke loose. God willing, there's a neighbor out there, someone's out there.
Susie's prayers are answered. Her neighbor Miguel Quintero has seen the flames and rushes to her door.
My first thought is, I have to pull this fire away enough from the door so that I can get to the door and bang on the door, ring the doorbell to wake everybody in that unit up. And then my next thought was, of course, let's go get him.
Incredibly, having just saved his neighbors, Miguel then chases down the arsonist.
He can hear my footsteps, and you see the fear in him when he hears me coming, because I'm coming in fast, and I'm a big locomotive coming towards him. So when he turns around, I see his eyes get real big, and he's just like, why? And from there is when I jump on top of him, and I know I'm not gonna hurt him too bad, but I'm definitely gonna do enough so that he knows he's not gonna go anywhere.
Miguel uses his college wrestling skills to restrain the man.
So I put his arm behind his back and, kept my arm around his neck. Not enough to choke him out, but enough to have control.
I finally get the door open, and Miguel starts screaming at me, call 911. He set the fire, call 911.
Just fired him.
Is it him?
Yep, hopefully.
Yeah, I did. It's on the way.
I think time slowed down for me. In that moment, it felt like forever for them to get there, but when I look back, it was within minutes. So they handcuffed him and then, took him away. And just kind of shook my hand and did a good job here. As far as a weapon, I didn't think about it. I just knew I wanted to get him and bring him to justice.
No motive was ever given for his actions, but 23-year-old Luis Menendez was charged with arson and attempted murder. He was found guilty and sentenced to 5 years. Ever since the terrifying incident, Susie and her family can't thank their Good Samaritan neighbor enough.
My first reaction was that I need to have a statue erected to Miguel. I need to have a halo placed on his head. He was our godsend. He is our angel. And I look back on the footage, I'm just amazed that we're here. I'm here. Most importantly, that my 2 baby granddaughters are here.
There's nothing in this world that could repay him for what he did for me and my family. Sorry, just give me a second. There's not enough words to say thank you, really.
I want to be a good neighbor. I want to know my neighbors, and I want them to know, as different as we are, because God, we are different. We want the same things.
You never know when you're going to need each other. They could need you, you could need them.
And I just want them to know who I am and that I got their backs. And what's great is, I know they have my back.
Simpsonville, South Carolina. A woman sits alone on her front steps, sobbing on the phone with her father.
Mike just called me and said Mama's dead.
She's battling a panic attack just after receiving news of her mother's sudden passing. Across the street, her neighbor, who she had only met once before, hears her cries and notices she's in distress.
Because you're supposed to come watch the kids.
When the neighbor arrives, without hesitation, she begins to hug and console her grieving friend, as if she were a child of her own. It's a true act of compassion. What's more, the Good Samaritan continues to check in via text during the following days to make sure her neighbor and family are doing okay. That's what neighbors are for.
There was a big issue in my city going on where these bikes were getting stolen.
A concerned Good Samaritan, who we'll call Sam, wishes to remain anonymous for his safety. But he's watched many bikes being stolen from his neighborhood for years, and no one doing anything about it.
I was kind of just sick of seeing it happen. I was sick of seeing people get away with it. The police weren't really doing too much about it.
So Sam gets an idea, and with a sidekick, they set their wheels in motion.
Me and my neighbor thought that we would try to stop this theft by going out and looking for these bikes that had been stolen and trying to recover them ourselves.
Sam and the neighbor browse stolen bike postings online. Then the duo prowl the neighborhood, sometimes for hours, hoping to spot one. And one evening, while Sam is out patrolling alone, he does.
So when I saw these guys ride by, I had a huge adrenaline rush, of course.
The neighbor, Sam's sidekick, is at home.
If I confirm that's the bike, you gotta call the cops, all right? And I'm gonna tell you where I am.
But Sam is able to patch into him through his helmet phone and let him know this is not a drill.
It's the bike, it's the bike.
There were a ton of identifications on this bike telling me that it was the stolen bike. And I'm a little nervous because I'm not sure who is on these bikes. There's more than one of them. Maybe they have a weapon.
Where'd you get that bike? Cops are on the way, man. I know that bike's stolen. Just leave it there and go. It's your best bet.
Sam advises the rider to surrender the bike to him, but instead, they pull over. Sam gives his coordinates to the neighbor.
Get the cops here right now. I'm at the taco truck by that Home Depot.
And tells him to have the police meet him there. But as they wait, the neighbor calls back with bad news.
Call right now, get them here, all right? We're talking right now.
I called, they said they're not coming.
What do you mean they're not coming? I got the bike.
This Good Samaritan is now the Lone Samaritan.
I didn't want to approach the situation alone. I just wanted to let the police know where these people were so they could apprehend them themselves.
One of the riders pulls out a phone and hands it to Sam.
The rider on the stolen bike ended up pulling out his phone and calling the person who had stolen the bike in the first place, the original thief.
Sam gets on with the thief who stole the bike.
I already talked to Levi, and I have to return the bike tomorrow.
Well, look, man, I got the bike right now, and I have the key. I can take it for Levi, man.
Levi is the bike's owner. And now that the thief knows he's been caught, he wants to return the bike back to Levi personally and apologize. Or so he claims.
But I'm taking this bike with me. The cops are on their way.
No, you can't return that bike.
But Sam insists on bringing the bike back himself and is not backing down.
I don't care, man. This bike's stolen. It's coming with me.
Sam believes if he lets them take the bike back, neither he or the owner will ever see it again.
We know your name, we know your address and everything, bro. I would take off if I were you.
I don't give no.
All right, man. Did you buy this bike or did he give it to you? Because you should get your money back if you bought it.
The thief may not care, but the two riders do. They talk to the thief on the phone and soon hand the keys over to Sam.
I don't want you guys to if you didn't steal it, I don't want you in trouble, all right? So you guys can go, because we already have the name of the guy.
The two people on the bikes decide to go their own way and leave the bike with me.
All right, you guys be safe, all right? I'm sorry you got mixed up in this, all right? If you didn't steal the bike, that's all right, but I'm taking it.
Thank you. We will take care of the guy.
Okay.
I ended up getting a $500 reward for getting the bike back. Later on, this footage was used in court and the thief was charged with many counts of vehicle theft.
But putting a neighborhood criminal behind bars comes with a price.
So I am a little worried of what may be done to me by the thief or his acquaintances if they find out my true identity.
This neighborhood Good Samaritan is happy to remain anonymous. And as long as Milwaukee thieves continue stealing bikes, the Good Samaritan and his sidekick neighbor will keep taking them back.
Hell yeah, man.
An apartment dweller in Seattle, Washington has noticed a woman behaving erratically on the street below and starts filming her.
She's throwing hands. Oh my God. No. Stop.
She collects a handful of rocks and goes running to terrorize the building across the street. You can't see it because of the building's awning, but she's throwing those rocks at an elderly woman. Unfortunately for this nasty neighbor, a passing Good Samaritan just witnessed the attack, and he plans to do something about it. The man comes darting across the street, tackles the attacker, and sends her crashing into a fire hydrant.
Take her down.
After giving her a scolding, the man checks on the elderly woman to make sure she wasn't hurt by any thrown rocks.
Yeah, he just
With the situation under control, the unidentified woman offers a feeble apology and is sent on her way. With neighbors like this guy, maybe she'll think twice before harassing this neighborhood again. A delivery driver named Nathan Wilkins prides himself on knowing all the different routes in his neighborhood.
Being a delivery driver, I've gone through this neighborhood pretty often. It's just a really tight neighborhood.
On a brisk January morning, Nathan's first delivery takes him on a familiar route through town.
You've got a lot of houses, you've got a lot of kids running around in the yards and stuff. People feel safe in this neighborhood.
But on this morning, Nathan notices something odd ahead of him.
I had a package to drop off not far from where I was, and then I noticed all of a sudden I was doing 20 miles per hour behind somebody.
Oh, Lord.
The car in front is weaving back and forth over the center lines.
I just kind of followed along behind him, and the first thing I thought, oh, he's on his phone, he's, distracted.
Nathan keeps behind the car as the driver becomes more erratic.
Genuinely, no.
The car nearly misses two oncoming vehicles and shows no signs of stopping.
Me, dude. Get off the road. Oh, Lord.
We went around the turn, and I see a utility truck coming towards us, and he starts to drift into the next lane. Oh no, this guy is about to hit this oncoming utility truck, doing like 50 miles per hour.
Nathan slows down and braces for what's about to happen.
I was absolutely terrified. A truck that size, if they hit him going 50 miles per hour, it would have been disastrous.
The truck swerves at the last second, narrowly avoiding a head-on collision.
I'm so glad that the guy driving the utility truck had the reaction time he had.
But the next driver might not be as quick, so Nathan does whatever he can to help his fellow neighbors.
If I saw an opposing car coming, I would flash my lights, I'd turn my hazard lights on, do my best to try to give them a heads up.
But finally, the car begins to slow.
After following this guy for about, 10 minutes or so, he finally just drifts into a guardrail.
And there they go.
So I pulled off into a house's driveways there, and by the time I made it back to his car, one woman was already on the phone with 911.
A nearby neighbor is already assisting the man, but he's barely responsive.
He looks like he may be in his maybe 60s, 70s.
Do you mind pushing your brake and putting it in park?
We were there with the man for a good 5 minutes or so, working with him, just trying to make sure he's okay.
I'm gonna.
Okay. Yeah,
I've got deliveries to make, but.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Yeah, there's somebody on the way.
Yeah, thank you guys for taking care of it.
The paramedics soon arrive, and the man is given a glucose pill for his low blood sugar. Nathan is soon back in the neighborhood making his deliveries. And although this medical emergency is harrowing, it teaches Nathan how the neighbors in this town look out for one another.
One day, that could be me in that car. I could have a heart attack or something while driving down the road, and it's nice to know that there's people like the people in my neighborhood that are gonna come out and be there and help me.
Thanks to Nathan and his neighbors, this driver avoids a road to disaster and is now on the road to recovery.